Saida, we were friends. I never wanted to compete with you. I thought we were in this together." But Saida's face hardens and she laughs, a hollow, bitter sound that cuts through Lina like a knife. "Wake up, Lina. This village only has room for one famous weaver, and I'm tired of being in your shadow." The village of Olumo is as lively as ever. The recent rainy season has passed, and the earth is lush and green, with villagers hard at work preparing their goods for the bustling market. Lina sits by her weaving stool, carefully arranging her baskets for display. Her hands move with ease, her fingers threading together vibrant colours of palm leaves into intricate patterns. But her heart feels a strange mixture of hope and worry. Ever since her painful confrontation with Saida, a heavy silence has hung between them. Saida has kept her distance, and Lina holds onto a sliver of hope that her old friend might finally be ready to let go of the bitterness and jealousy that tore them apart. The village children run by, their laughter filling the air, and for a moment, Lina is transported back to simpler times, to days when she and Saida would play together under the baobab tree, dreaming of the future. She closes her eyes, imagining what it would be like to rebuild their friendship, to move beyond the harsh words and hurt feelings. But deep down, a lingering doubt gnaws at her. Has Saida truly changed? Or is there something darker lurking beneath her calm exterior? As the sun dips lower in the sky, casting warm, golden light across the market, Lina packs up her baskets, unaware that the piece she clings to is as fragile as the palm fronds she weaves. Shadows lengthen, and the village settles into quiet. But tonight, secrets will emerge, secrets that will shatter Lina's hopes for reconciliation and leave scars that no amount of forgiveness can heal. Later that evening, under the cover of darkness, Saida walks swiftly down a narrow path that leads away from the village. The faint moonlight barely illuminates her path, but she moves with purpose. She clutches a roll of cloth, one of Lina's most intricate designs, in her hands, her grip tight as if clinging to a lifeline. Ahead of her stands Kofi, a rival trader from a distant village, known for his ambition and cunning. His face is half hidden by the shadows, but his sharp eyes gleam with interest as Saida approaches. "You brought it?" Kofi's voice is low and smooth, carrying a hint of satisfaction. Saida nods, passing him the cloth with shaky hands. "It's one of her best," she murmurs, trying to mask her nervousness. A flicker of guilt crosses her face, but she quickly pushes it down, reminding herself of why she's doing this. Kofi inspects the design, his lips curling into a pleased smile. "Very good, Saida. You'll be rewarded well. With this, I'll make sure you become the most talked about weaver in Olumo." Saida's heart races as she imagines the fame, the admiration she has always longed for. But there's a bitterness in her victory, a shadow of doubt that clings to her. She forces herself to ignore it, focusing instead on the promises Kofi has made, promises of status, wealth, and respect. But as she turns to leave, she feels a weight settle in her chest, a heavy reminder of the friend she has betrayed. Little does she know the cost of her choices is far greater than she could ever imagine. The next morning, Lina is at the market once again, arranging her baskets with care. She hums a soft tune as she works, feeling the satisfaction that comes from doing something she loves. The villagers pass by, admiring her work, and Lina's heart swells with pride. But as she continues setting up, she notices a tall figure lingering at the edge of the market. It's Kofi, the rival trader she's only heard whispers about, known for his relentless pursuit of profit. A strange chill runs down Lina's spine as she watches him. He seems oddly interested in her stall, his gaze lingering on her baskets a little too long. Lina glances around, half expecting to see Saida nearby, but her friend is nowhere to be found. Unease settles over her, a prickling at the back of her mind that she can't shake. Why would Kofi be watching her work so intently? Determined to brush off the feeling, Lina focuses on her customers, greeting them with warmth and cheer. But as the day wears on, Kofi's presence continues to nag at her, a silent reminder that something isn't right. She tries to put it out of her mind, but deep down, she knows that the peace she felt yesterday is slipping away, replaced by a growing sense of dread. That evening, as Lina prepares to head home, her mother notices the troubled look on her face. Sitting together outside their hut, her mother reaches for her hand, her eyes full of concern. "Lina, my child, what troubles you?" she asks gently. Lina hesitates, but then she tells her mother about the strange encounter with Kofi and her recent distance from Saida. As she speaks, her voice falters, the worry spilling out like water from an overflowing pot. Her mother listens carefully, her face growing serious as Lina finishes. "Lina," she begins, her voice calm but firm. "In life, there are those who will take advantage of kindness. Not everyone who smiles at you wishes you well." She places a comforting hand on Lina's shoulder. "Be careful, my daughter. Sometimes envy can turn even the truest friends into strangers." Lina nods, taking her mother's words to heart, but a part of her still clings to hope. She doesn't want to believe that Saida would ever betray her, that the friend who was once like a sister could harbour such bitterness. But as she lies awake that night, her mother's warning echoes in her mind, casting shadows over the memories she once held dear. The next day, Lina decides to confront Saida, hoping to clear up the strange feelings that have been festering between them. She approaches Saida's hut, her heart pounding as she calls out her friend's name. To her surprise, Saida steps out with a look of defiance on her face, her eyes flashing with something Lina doesn't recognise. Anger, perhaps, or maybe guilt. "Saida," Lina begins, her voice trembling slightly. "I've been worried about you. I thought we could talk, maybe clear up whatever's been happening between us." Saida scoffs, crossing her arms over her chest. "Talk?" she replies, her voice dripping with bitterness. "You think a few words will change anything, Lina? You've always had everything handed to you. Admiration, respect, success. What have I ever had?" Lina stares at her, shocked by the venom in her words. "Saida, we were friends. I never wanted to compete with you. I thought we were in this together." But Saida's face hardens and she laughs, a hollow, bitter sound that cuts through Lina like a knife. "Wake up, Lina. This village only has room for one famous weaver, and I'm tired of being in your shadow." Lina's heart shatters, the weight of Saida's words crashing over her like a tidal wave. She turns away, feeling the sting of betrayal deep in her chest, as if a part of her has been ripped away. The morning sun casts a golden glow over the village, but Lina's heart feels heavy as she sets up her stall in the market. She tries to focus, placing each of her baskets with care, but a sense of dread lingers in the air, thick and suffocating. Her thoughts keep circling back to Saida's bitter words, the anger in her friend's eyes. She shakes her head, trying to brush off the dark thoughts, telling herself that Saida's envy would fade, that perhaps time could heal the damage. As villagers begin to fill the market, Lina greets them with a polite smile, doing her best to push aside the tension. But soon, whispers reach her ears, soft yet sharp, slicing through the lively chatter of the market. She strains to listen, her pulse quickening with each passing second. "I heard she's been copying designs," one voice says, its tone laced with accusation. "Those patterns? They're not hers at all. She's just pretending to be talented." Lina's heart pounds, her hands gripping the edge of her stool to steady herself. She glances around, trying to spot who's speaking, but the voices seem to blend together, a faceless crowd casting shadows over her hard-earned reputation. Then, she catches a glimpse of Kofi in the distance, talking to a group of traders, his expression smug as he nods toward her stall. Her stomach twists with a sick realization. This is Saida's doing. She has fed Kofi lies, poisoning the minds of the villagers, turning them against her. As if in a dream, Lina watches as customers hesitate before approaching her stall, their gazes filled with doubt and suspicion. She feels exposed, vulnerable, as if the entire market has turned against her. Taking a deep breath, she raises her voice, trying to break through the crowd's murmurs. "Please," she calls, her voice shaking. "If you have questions, ask me. I will tell you the truth." But her words seem to hang in the air, unheeded as the crowd continues to whisper, the weight of Saida's betrayal pressing down on her like a suffocating fog. In that moment, Lina realizes just how far Saida has gone, and the depth of her friend's betrayal cuts deeper than any wound. This isn't just a misunderstanding. This is a deliberate attempt to ruin her, to destroy everything she has worked for. Her heart aches, not only for herself, but for the friend she thought she knew, now lost to jealousy and spite. And as she stands there, facing the crowd with tears in her eyes, she feels a resolve harden within her. She will not let this break her. She will fight for the truth, no matter the cost. That evening, Lina returns home, her hand shaking and her heart raw with pain. She sits by the fire with her mother, recounting the events at the market, her voice barely a whisper as she describes the accusations, the cold stares, and the feeling of betrayal that lingers in her chest. Her mother listens quietly, her face etched with sadness and worry. When Lina finishes, her mother reaches out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "My daughter, do not let others steal your light. You know your worth. Those who truly see you will recognize the truth." Lina nods, taking in her mother's words, feeling a glimmer of strength rekindling within her. She realizes that she cannot change the past or undo Saida's betrayal, but she can stand up for herself, for her craft, and for the reputation she has built with her own two hands. That night, as the village settles into sleep, Lina sits by the fire, weaving with fierce determination. Each thread she pulls, each pattern she creates, carries with it her pain, her resilience, and her unwavering belief in her own worth. In the days that follow, Lina works tirelessly, creating designs more intricate and beautiful than ever before. She knows that she may face more doubt, more accusations, but she refuses to let Saida's betrayal define her. The villagers begin to notice her strength, the way she holds her head high despite the whispers, and slowly they start to question the rumours. The truth, Lina believes, will reveal itself in time. The following week, a large crowd gathers in the market square for a special event, a gathering where traders from neighbouring villages come to view the latest crafts and select new goods for their markets. Lina stands at her stall, her hands steady as she displays her baskets, but her heart beats wildly, knowing that Kofi and Saida are somewhere in the crowd, watching her, waiting for her to falter. As the traders approach her stall, one of them, a respected elder from a distant village, examines her work with a discerning eye. "These designs are remarkable," he remarks, turning to the crowd. "The craftsmanship is unparalleled." Lina feels a surge of hope, but her relief is short-lived as Saida steps forward, her voice sharp and accusing. "Lina didn't create those designs," she sneers, her gaze cold and calculating. "She stole them, just like she stole her fame from me." A murmur ripples through the crowd, and Lina feels the sting of Saida's words pierce her heart. She steps forward, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Saida," she says, her tone laced with disappointment. "We were friends. I trusted you. Why are you doing this?" Saida's face twists with anger and jealousy, her eyes blazing as she replies, "You were always the one everyone admired. I wanted my own success, my own recognition, and Kofi promised me that." Lina's heart aches as she realizes the depth of Saida's resentment, the years of bitterness that have led her friend to betray her in the cruelest way possible. But instead of backing down, Lina stands tall, facing the crowd with strength. "I have nothing to hide," she declares, her voice strong and unwavering. "My work speaks for itself. Anyone who doubts me is welcome to watch me weave." The crowd falls silent as an elder steps forward, nodding in approval. "A true artist should be able to create under any scrutiny," he says. He motions for Lina to demonstrate her weaving skills, giving her a chance to prove herself. Saida watches with a scowl, her fists clenched as Lina takes a seat at her stall, her hands moving swiftly and skillfully over the palm leaves. With every movement, Lina pours her heart into the design, each thread a testament to her passion and dedication. The crowd watches in awe as the intricate patterns take shape before their eyes, each line and curve crafted with precision. Whispers of admiration fill the air, and Lina feels a swell of pride, knowing that her work is a reflection of her own spirit. As she finishes the design, the elder inspects it closely, his eyes softening with approval. "There is no doubt," he says, raising his voice so all can hear, "this work is indeed her own. Her skill is unmatched." The crowd erupts into applause, and Lina feels a wave of relief wash over her. She has proven herself not only to the villagers, but to herself. But as she glances at Saida, she sees a mixture of anger and defeat in her friend's eyes, a look that makes her heart ache with the loss of what they once shared. The market continues, but Saida's stall remains empty, the once bustling space now avoided by the villagers. The traders turn their backs on her, unwilling to do business with someone who has betrayed her own friend. Kofi, sensing that his alliance with Saida is no longer profitable, distances himself, leaving her to face the consequences alone. As Lina watches Saida from afar, her heart feels heavy with sadness. She doesn't feel victorious, only tired, as if she has fought a battle she never wanted to fight. Saida approaches her, her face pale and streaked with tears. "Lina," she says, her voice barely audible, "I never thought it would go this far. I was afraid of being left behind." Lina looks at her old friend, her heart aching with a mix of anger and pity. "Saida," she says softly, "you had the same chances as me. But instead of supporting each other, you chose to tear me down. I forgave you so many times, but you kept hurting me." Saida drops her gaze, her shoulders slumping as she realizes the gravity of her actions. Saida stands before Lina, her face etched with regret. "I'm so sorry, Lina," she whispers, her voice breaking. "I never meant to ruin everything. I wanted to be seen." Lina's heart softens, but she knows that forgiveness is not a simple matter. "Saida, trust is not something that can be taken lightly. You have to earn it, and that takes time," Lina replies, her voice filled with sadness. The villagers watch as the two former friends share a final, painful moment of understanding. Saida knows that she cannot undo the damage she has caused, and Lina realizes that, while she may one day forgive Saida, their friendship can never be what it once was. With a heavy heart, Lina turns away, walking back to her stall, leaving Saida behind to face the consequences of her choices. Months pass, and Lina finds herself thriving in ways she never imagined. Her baskets are sought after by traders from distant villages, each design a symbol of resilience and hope. She begins teaching young women in the village how to weave, sharing her skills and watching them grow, finding joy in helping others create beauty with their own hands. One evening, as the sun sets over the river, Lina sits quietly, watching the water reflect the golden light. Saida approaches, her presence quiet and humbled. "Thank you, Lina," she says softly. "You were right. I had to face myself before I could ever be a true friend." Lina smiles gently, nodding. "We've both learned a lot, Saida. I wish you peace on your journey." They part ways, knowing their friendship will never return to what it was, but understanding that they have both grown from the pain. As Lina walks back to her home, she feels a sense of freedom. a lightness that tells her she has finally let go of the shadows that once held her back. In her heart, she knows this is only the beginning of a new chapter, one where she will never again let anyone dim her light. If this story moved you or sparked something within, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Friendship, loyalty, and resilience are powerful themes, and I hope Lina and Saida's journey gave you something meaningful to reflect on. Please share your insights and the lessons you've learned about friendship and forgiveness in the comments. Have you faced a similar experience? How did you overcome it? Your story could inspire others here too. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have so many more captivating African folktales and lessons in store. Stories that remind us of life's deepest truths. Join our community and let's grow and learn together.